Rishi Sunak is never going to come up face to face with a voter. Rishi Sunak goes into a bakery and the end of the street being closed off. If you import 1 million people with a totally different cultural criteria, you're going to change that country in ways that you cannot predict. Tommy was calling this stuff years ago, and what we did was we allowed him to be cancelled. Whether you agree with Alex Jones or not doesn't matter. He has a right, in exactly the same way as you do, to express a view. I've been really, really rich in my life and miserable, and I've been very, very poor and been happy.
Lawsuits, it's cost you £6 to £7 million.
Yeah.
Have you not thought to maybe just slightly change the wording on some of the things you say?
No. I can see a school 10 years ago going, we welcome Father Calvin Robinson, who's going to come and talk to you about whatever he's going to talk to you about. But now it's not true.
Yeah, I come from a working class miners village. First person in my family to go to university.
You tick all the diversity boxes.
Mixed race. I've been invited to number 10 Downing Street. I've been invited to Buckingham Palace. I had a TV show that should be seen as a success. But because I'm the wrong type of brown, I have the wrong opinions for a brown person. Instead of highlighting that success, they want to drag me down and say, no, you are wrong, get back in your box. I find that fascinating.
Yeah.
Wait, define fascinating.
In that what is good is called evil, what's evil is called good in this world that we live in right now. What we have always seen to be right is now being told is wrong.
And do you think that about Christianity?
No, Christianity is still right.
Okay.
But the world has
church.
moved away from
It's just Henry VIII's divorce called the Church of England at the end of the day. It's like, I mean, bollocks to
our
that.
secular society has moved away from Christian morality and Christian values.
Yes.
And no one knows what's right or wrong anymore. And what's right or wrong today isn't right or wrong tomorrow and wasn't right or wrong yesterday. So people are confused.
I very much agree. Is that partly as well because we're now international and so we don't have our own very clear, more tribal rules, you know, with, for example, immigration, and everything is just, what is it? What's the identity?
Are you international? I don't feel like an international. I don't feel like a global citizen. I feel like I grew up.
Well, but we get impressioned globally. Like children who are English speak American because they watch Americans on YouTube. So that is Americanization. And
we bend over backwards. So anyone coming into our country, we take on board their values to make them feel welcome.
So we don't have any values anymore.
Without telling them what our values are.
Yeah, and so we're confused because we don't have our own identity.
Yeah. I'd say another objective truth is that if you import 1 million people into a country with a totally different cultural set of criteria, you're going to change that country in ways that you cannot predict. But it will have a profound effect on the nature of how that country operates. I would say that would be true.
I would agree. And to me, the problem is the amount of people that would call you a racist for saying that.
Oh, fine, I'm done with it. They already killed the meaning of the word racist. It's finished now.
And they're a minority. I honestly believe the vast number of people in this country still hold to our values, still hold to traditional British Christian values. It's the elite and the snobs in Westminster and in that bubble, whether they're media or politicians, it's them that are the problem.
And why are they the problem? Because they don't have clear moral compass.
Well, look at Nigel Farage. He's getting stuff thrown at him because he's actually out there and amongst the people. Yeah. That's why he's getting stuff thrown at him. Rishi Sunak goes into a bakery which has been closed off since 9 a.m. or 5 a.m. that morning, and the end of the street being closed off. Rishi Sunak is never going to come up face to face with a voter. And when he did the other day, this woman who said, you've got shit GPs, we need to get better GPs. You can't diagnose complex illnesses or treat people with lots of comorbidities with underqualified GPs. Yeah. And he's like, I don't know what to say. Yeah. Because he was finally like, do you remember when that vile human being, Nadim Zawi, or was it Nadim or was it the other one, who went to the NHS hospital and that doctor turned around and said, I haven't been vaccinated and I wouldn't be vaccinated because it's just, like, he just said everything that everyone was thinking, which was like, it's a bit soon, isn't it? I mean, you can't tell us this is...
I think it was Sajid Javid.
Savage Javid, yeah. It was him, and you're just like, this is a perfectly normal view that was being expressed by everyone I'd met in the pub. My family, there's 5 kids in my family. None of us talked about the vaccination. None of us. My parents, we never talked about it. None of us got it. None of us got it. So it was definitely a conversation that was going around at the time. And this guy just sort of pops up and turns it. And Nigel will go out into the community and campaign. And he's met with violence from people that don't want him to speak. And
is it not a human part of our journey to be persecuted for our beliefs?
Yeah.
I mean, can you name a very successful person who has a clear mission or, a moral code that doesn't get persecuted?
Philip Schofield.
I think it's part of the faith. I think if you're on the side of truth, you will be persecuted. And the Bible teaches us that we'll be blessed because of that persecution.
Right.
And Jesus would say he was hated before us. So it's also to be expected. And this is why it doesn't actually.
Yeah, you're never going to get us hated as much as Jesus.
Right. So
that's like that is objectively true.
That's a good mantra.
That's objectively.
That's a good mantra.
That's objectively true. It's like,
that's a good mantra.
And actually, if you
that's
take
my
it,
next tattoo, or my first tattoo.
if you take it a bit further and you hang out with someone like Tommy, for example, that man has been persecuted in ways that, like some of the stories he told me about what's happened in his life. I'm just like, and you look at the after effects of it on his body and his mind now. It's affected him hugely, and even he's not suffered as much as someone who's just been completely wrongfully killed by just basically saying love one another.
So I've at times talked to Tommy to have him on the show, and I'm in this other existential crisis, I like to call them that, the things I beat myself up around in my head, and that is the guest on mission and message? Am I doing this for the right reasons? Am I veering a bit off towards being a bit newsjacky and clickbaity? At the same time, if I'm an artist and no one sees my art, am I an artist? Okay. And so I go through this cycle. So I have had discussions with Tommy, but as of yet, I've held off having him on the show. What are your thoughts, whether I should or shouldn't?
Yeah, you should. He's a really fascinating guy. And also, one of the lessons that all of us should learn, whatever your political affiliation and whatever your feelings about anything, is nobody should be cancelled. You should not cancel people, whether you disagree.
Unless you break the law?
Yeah, I think that, well, then you're sanctioned. There is a legal problem there. But
right, and that's an important difference, isn't it?
But I was listening to a guy this morning, a black guy, who was born and raised in the 60s. He was sort of growing up at the flip side of Jim Crow and segregation. And he happened to be quite rich, and he grew up in a white area, and he joined the Scouts. And they were doing a Scout parade through town, and he started getting people were throwing stuff at him. And he was like, oh, why did people hate the Scouts so much? And then his parents explained to him that, no, it's because you're black and that's why they hate you. And he said that one formative moment in his life made him go, I'm going to go and talk to all of the most racist people I can find to find out why they're racist and help them understand that I'm just another person just like you.
That's interesting.
And he was really fascinating. And
that's quite common. Because our voids create our values.
All of the people that rescinded... So this is KKK territory, the South.
Wow.
And a huge number of them rescinded their membership of the KKK and gave them their gowns and all of this stuff so that he could open a museum to
he would not have that mission had he not had the persecution.
And he made the best point, which was, he said, this whole term anti-racist, he said, that's wrong. You should be anti-racism. Which is much better.
Yeah.
Because the racist is just a person. Racism is an ideology.
Right, yeah.
And I just thought that he took his persecution and turned it into something fantastic and wonderful and moving. And, reminded us of what we all actually innately know to be the objective truth, is that we're all made in the image of God, doesn't matter what colour our skin is.
Amen.
And you're called a racist for it. For saying that, you're called a racist. So that's what I find.
And so why has Tommy Robinson been, branded like a cow as this extreme racist?
Because no one was paying attention. And Tommy Robinson was... I was with Mark Stein last night, and he said, you have the same problem as I have. You see things way before they happen. So he said, you when I called out Meghan Markle, he said, now you could say Meghan Markle's a whining bore-off on mainstream media today, and it would be like, yeah, whatever. But when I said it, it was Satanism. In the same way as when he said that...
Well, because you said it early.
Because you call it early. So Tommy...
And you're misunderstood.
Tommy was calling this stuff years ago. And what we did was we allowed him to be cancelled. When I say we, I mean all of us. even those that intended for him to be cancelled and those that didn't. We allowed it to happen, and we shouldn't allow it. Cancel culture, the cancelling of someone's views, however abhorrent they are.
As long as they don't break the law.
Well, as long as they don't break the law. But these Ku Klux Klan people, this guy, they were breaking the law. One of them was in jail for the attempted murder of and lynching of 2 black guys. And he went to visit him in jail and spoke to him. So I don't think it's about the confines of bars and walls and boundaries. It's more about what you're willing to deal with in your own head, what you're willing to discuss. You know, that's the limits of it. It's not, but cancelling someone saying, right, we want Milo Yiannopoulos off Twitter, we want Alex Jones off Twitter. It's like, whether you agree with Alex Jones or not, doesn't matter. He has a right, in exactly the same way as you do, to express a view. And in the same way as these vile Islamist twats who walk around London going, I want to kill Jews, they have the right to do it. But at the same time,
yeah, but surely when it gets to inciting hate and war,
well, not hate, violence.
Right.
But incitement to violence, it should be a crime, and absolutely should be a crime. And those people should be arrested.
So the problem I see at the moment is it's more trial by media than it is trial by law.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
How much has it cost you to share your opinion in pounds and pence? Like, how many lawsuits? How much have you had to pay?
Just be a bit before lawsuits. Where are we now? I'm on year 5 of the Laurence Fox mission to try and tell people that I'm not. Sorry. Just in pounds and pence, that's probably 6-7 million quid.
It's cost you without the
that's pre-lawsuits.
Without the lawsuits, it's cost you £6 to £7 million.
Yeah.
Have you not thought to maybe just slightly change the wording on some of the things you say?
No, because it takes.
Didn't you just lose a case
about money
for 108? Yeah, but how could that money be invested more?
Because I believed that the judiciary in this country, like, if you're going to challenge...
It's not about money, but the money is the fuel. Mother Teresa still needed backing. Gandhi was expensive to travel around the world.
To save the money.
I have backing.
No, but you can be elegant with your language or know the law.
I believed, because they did throw out her case, Nicola Thorpe's case, I believed that the way that you tell whether you live in a fair and open society is by asking the judiciary a very simple question: am I a racist? And if it's defamatory to call somebody a racist, are you going to do that? So I thought, I could have done it with Yasmin Alibi Brown. She called me a racist on TV. It's the only episode of Jeremy Vine that's not available to download. And the reason is because she defamed me terribly. And I was
And you didn't sue her?
I was stupid. I said to her, take that back, otherwise I'm going to sue you. And she realised in an instant that she just defamed me badly on national TV. So I thought, and I still
Defamation should cost, I think. There should be accountability for that. It can ruin someone's business, their livelihood, their family.
Yeah, but all of that has been ruined by me, and I haven't been rewarded for it financially at all, but I've been rewarded for it in ways that are much more interesting than money.
So it's cost you £6 or £7 million in the 5 years of...
That's just in lost earnings.
In lost earnings. And then didn't you have £180,000? Wasn't it?
And wait for the £2.5–3 million costs order that will be made as well. Yeah.
How does that make you feel?
It makes me feel like look, some of us are lucky enough or unlucky enough. I sometimes often feel it's unlucky enough to be in a position to try and stress the system, to try and see if it works. And I wanted to know whether the judiciary worked. And in my view, it doesn't. So I think that we are finding out that our foundational national institutions, all this sort of stuff that we're all worried about, is real. And I think exposing that is priceless, actually. I mean, there's no amount of money I wouldn't spend on that. In the same way as there's no amount of money you could get me to sit on a film set with a woke actress. Like, none. If someone said to me, it's 10 million quid, you're James Bond, but you've got to work with this actress for 4 months, I'd go, that's not enough money. There's just not enough. There's not enough dollars that you could put in my hand to make me work with someone who would make the short period of time I have on this planet worth less.
Wow.
Money means I've been really, really rich in my life and miserable, and I've been very, very poor and been happy. And that is just a truth.
But you can be rich and happy.
You can, and let's hope that one day we get there.
Because it's not the determining factor, is the point, isn't it?
No, money is an exchange of value. It's a tool. Yeah, when we give
It's a social contract we believe in.
It is.
Which is the only social contract we believe in, actually. It's the only one we believe in.
Yeah, I mean, I think the cracks are starting to appear in our belief around the money system, aren't they?
I promise to pay the bearer on demand the sum of.
Yeah.
It's not the actual sum of.
No.
It's a promise to do so. And that's, and you look at what America's done, you look at what Biden did with the COVID, sort of resurgence thing that he did, which was $2 trillion. It's like the American debt.
That's our fee. That's our tax.
Yeah, and Rishi Sunak had to admit that £1 billion a day that he poured into, that he just sort of
that's our tax. That's our inflation.
That's our.
This comes back to my mission to educate people on this so we can understand what's being done to us.
And then what?
And then do my absolute best to educate as many people on this planet to understand decentralization, understand independence. And, I'd love to change the school system, but that's one of their early ways to indoctrinate people, which might be why you're not getting those kind of invitations anymore.
Now, I've been on a mission for 17 years to help as many people on this planet get better financial knowledge. If, like me, you'd like to make, manage and multiply more money, I recommend that you join my digital financial freedom platform, which is called rob.team. It's really easy to join. You just type in rob.team, and there you're going to learn my 4 M's of making, managing, maintaining and multiplying more money. There are hundreds of hours of courses, resources and masterclasses on building recurring and passive income, getting your tax bill down, your income streams up, your earning speed up and your earning power up. And the even better news is there's no risk to you because it costs less than 20 pence a day to join. You can cancel anytime with no ongoing contract. You simply type in rob.team into any web page. Now, if you join right now, I'll also give you my 12-week Money Mastermind University completely for free. This will retail at $500 to $700 when I launch it. It's about 14 hours of what they should teach you at school and university about money, but the banking system and the governments control you and don't want you to know that. It exposes the banking system and teaches you how to play them at their own game. And all the things your parents and society don't know about money and didn't want to teach you about money and wanted to hide away about money is exposed in my Money Mastermind University. If you join rob.team right now, you get that completely for free. Just type in rob.team. I'll see you inside with the 10,000 other members who are moving, shaking, game-changing and change-making in rob.team.